All right, welcome back, and we're going to take a look at the solutions to our scale copies, our scaled copies, unit lesson 1. And as we take a look at this original figure, it's always important to really identify the parts of that original figure, look at the relationships of each part of the figure to each other, and if you can identify measures, that's always a smart thing to do. So as we go over to figure 2, I've gone from labeling my measure of 1 and a measure of 2. And over here, I've identified that this is 2, 2, 2, 2, 4, and 2. So this is actually a scaled copy because I have taken the original figure and multiplied each piece times 2. Now if we go to this next one, I want you to notice that the height here was actually 2. And if you look at the height here, that's actually 3. Okay, that doesn't mean that it's not a scaled. If we look at our measurement here, it's 2. So in comparing, when the height was 2, the measure was 2, but here the height is 3 and the measure is 2. Therefore, it is not a scaled copy. And this one is pretty obvious. They don't even look the same. Now this one, we want to go back and again we have to look at our parts. So this is 1/2 and 1/2. And I'm doing each part of the A, and then it's across 1. So if you're looking at all those, what I've actually done, many of you may say, hey, Ms. Treadway, you divided that by 2. But I didn't. We don't want to use division. So instead, we're going to look and say, if I was going to identify a scale factor, which was not required, this is a scaled copy because I actually took my original and multiplied times 1/2. But either way, everything stayed proportional to each of these, and therefore this one is also a scaled copy. So Tyler says that figure B is a scaled copy because of figure A, because all of the peaks are half as tall. So think about that definition of a scaled copy. You're taking a figure and the figure still looks the same, just smaller or bigger. So as one piece gets larger, the other pieces get larger. As one piece gets smaller, everything else gets smaller the same way. So if we look here, yes, we did go from 4 to 2. However, these two are the same length. Therefore, Tyler is wrong for those reasons. Okay, now if we look at our next one, we have a picture of the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, California. Now this is a little bit trickier. And here is my initial copy. Okay, so you may want to take a look at the actual whole picture. And when you do that, notice that this entire picture is pretty much the size of is pretty much the shape of a square. If you wanted to measure, you could measure, the sides. But if you notice, this is a square. This continues to be a square. And this one continues to be a square. So these are all proportional and are scaled copies. But these two were actually squished so that they became rectangles. And a rectangle is not the same as that square. All right, so that is how we just figured. Now let's go on to our very last problem, Are any of the figures B, C, or D scaled copies of figure A? And how do we know? So looking at these, let's take a look and let's get some data for our original. The end is 1, and this end is 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is 2. And this is 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so let's go over to this next one. 1 and 1. Well, these match. Those match A. But the others do not. So it cannot be a scale factor. Excuse me, a scaled copy. So let's go to this one. 1 was there, 2 is here. Okay, it's looking like I'm doing a times 2. 1 to 2. So let's see if this one's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So far, so good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still times 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So far, we have doubled all of our original. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So if you notice, they are proportional because 1 is to 2, as 4 is to 8, as 3 is to 6, as 5 is to 10. So all numbers have been doubled. So C is a scaled copy. And then finally, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we've got 2. Well, we already learned that if this was 2, then the side over here has to be 10. Because if this 1 doubles, then everything else has to double. So the 7 doesn't double. So it is not a scaled copy. So a quick recap. A scaled copy. What do we know about a scaled copy? That the original then becomes larger or smaller, but still the same figure. So the picture looks identical, it just was shrunk or it was enlarged. Larger or smaller, but still the same figure. Another thing that we know, we're not really practicing this part, but you're definitely going to get into it in 8th grade, is that there is a scale factor which keeps it proportional. So they're proportional. So the original is proportional to the scaled copy. Okay, if you are continuing or having any difficulties with parts of this lesson, please make sure you reach out to your classroom teacher so that she can follow up and assist you.